today we are going to discuss about moment of inertia of a disk. In the last classes, basically we have discussed about moment of inertia of a rod, that of a ring, and we have already discussed the axis theorems, basically perpendicular axis theorem and parallel axis theorem. Now let's take a disk. Let us consider a disk of radius capital R. We are required to find the moment of inertia of this given disk along the centroidal axis, that is the axis passing through the center of mass. As we have already calculated the moment of inertia of uniform distribution of masses, in the case of disk, basically the first point is to take an elementary disk. In order to take an elementary disk, we take a ring having radius x and again another ring having radius dx, or having elementary disk so called have thickness dx. Now the moment of inertia of this elementary disk is to be calculated firstly. So in order to calculate the moment of inertia, firstly we have to calculate the mass of this elementary disk. The mass of the elementary disk is considered to be dm, that will be equal to sigma dA, where sigma is surface mass density, or we can say it is mass per unit area. The value of sigma will be the mass of this disk, that is m, and the area of this disk, that is pi r square. So dm will come out to be equal to, now we have to calculate dA. Basically dA will be equal to the area of the elementary disk, and it can be easily given as to be equal to the length of the elementary disk, that will be 2 pi x, and its thickness dx. So the mass of the elementary disk will be equal to 2m upon r square x dx. Now the moment of inertia of this elementary disk can be given to be equal to dm into x square, or it can be written as 2m upon r square multiplied by x q ds. The total moment of inertia of the disk along the centroidal axis will be the integration of this elementary section along the given coordinate, or you can say the fixed coordinate. So it will be equal to, the limits will extend from 0 to r, because the first disk, initially the elementary section will start from over here, then to there, then finally it will be the bigger disk. The constant will be taken out, thus we can say integration of xq will give out the value x4 upon 4 under the limits 0 to r. It will come out to be equal to half mr square. Using perpendicular and parallel axis theorem, we can calculate the moment of inertia of the disk along different axes. Let's take an illustration. We are going to calculate the moment of inertia of a disk along an axis passing through the tangent and is parallel to centroidal axis. For this again, let us consider that this be the axis passing through the center of gravity, or center of mass, or the center of the disk, and we have to calculate the moment of inertia along this given axis, which is parallel to the axis passing through the center, or called centroidal axis. Let the distance of this tangent be r from the center. Let's consider the moment of inertia to be I. So applying parallel axis theorem, moment of inertia I will be equal to IC plus MD square, as we have already studied. So it will be equal to, D will be equal to R square. We can write it as 3 by 2 mr square. Again take another case. In this given case, we are going to calculate the moment of inertia of the same disk across an axis passing through the diameter. For this case, again we are going to take a disk. Let us consider the moment of inertia along the diameter be taken as ID, and the moment of inertia along the centroidal axis be I. Applying perpendicular axis theorem, as we have already studied, moment of inertia along the centroidal axis I can be written as the sum of moment of inertia along the respective diameters, because all the three axes are perpendicular to each other. So it can be written as equal to ID plus ID. Thus adding it to ID will give the value I. So ID will be equal to I upon 2. be equal to mr square upon 4. Let's take an illustration today. In the above figure, been given 4 rods arranged as shown in figure. We have to calculate the moment of inertia along an axis passing through O and perpendicular to this given figure. For our convenience, let's number the rods as 1, 2, 3 and 4. The moment of inertia of rod first along centroidal axis can be given as 1 upon 12 mr square, as you have studied earlier. Since this given axis is parallel to the axis passing through point O, so the moment of inertia of the rod along the axis passing through O, firstly let's calculate the distance. It will be equal to L, it will be equal to L by 2, so it will be equal to x can be written as equal to root 5L upon 2. Thus the moment of inertia of the first rod along point O, we can write it as I1 dash. It will be given as IC plus MD square, or you can say MX square. Applying parallel axis theorem, value of I1 dash will be sum of 1 by 12 ml square plus M, which will come out to be equal to 5 ml square plus 4. Now the moment of inertia of the rod second along O, as we can easily see, the moment of inertia of the rod along O is along the tangent perpendicular to the plane for the second rod, and we have already calculated its moment of inertia. You can say it as I2 to be equal to 1 upon 3 ml square. Thus the moment of inertia along any given part, you can say along one side of O or the left side of O, can be written as I left IC plus MD square, applying parallel axis theorem. So I left will be equal to 4 upon 3 ml square, as you can see, and 1 upon 3 ml square, the sum of both, which will come out to be equal to, since this given figure is symmetric across O, so the net moment of inertia, the moment of inertia along left side, and it can be written to be equal to 10 upon 3 ml square. We will see some more illustrations in the next topic.